found yourself searching for that one thing that will make you truly happy, you're not alone. Many of us go on this quest thinking there's a single answer to our happiness. But the reality is, there are many answers and they change depending on our current state. First off, it's crucial to understand that happiness isn't a static state, it's more like a moving target. What made you happy last year, last month, or even yesterday might not do the trick today. Like, you cannot eat something every day. You cannot read the same book every day. You cannot watch the same movie every day. Our needs, desires, and circumstances change, and so does what makes us happy. In The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, she writes, one of the best ways to make yourself happy is to make other people happy. And one of the best ways to make other people happy is to be happy yourself. The simple statement highlights how interconnected and ever-changing our sources of happiness can be. Everyone needs to relax. Imagine lying on a beach, the sun warming your skin, and the sound of waves lulling you into a peaceful state. It sounds perfect, right? But if all you ever did was sit on that beach, it would get pretty old quickly. This novelty wears off, and soon you'd be craving something else. In his book, Stumbling on Happiness, Daniel Gilbert explains we are more resilient than we realize, and we bounce back from negative experiences more quickly than we expect. This resilience also means we adapt to positive experiences, necessitating a shift to maintain our happiness. On the flip side, work can bring a deep sense of fulfillment for some people. Achieving goals, overcoming challenges, and contributing to something bigger than yourself can be incredibly satisfying. However, if you spend all your time working out, it becomes exhausting and you might just burn out yourself. Burnout is real, and it's a sign that balance is needed in life. In whatever area you go, the balance is needed. There are a lot of videos on the internet, and every person might be talking about how burnout feels like, and every creator goes through it, every content creator goes through it, every artist goes through it. And there are several videos on why the burnout occurs and what happens when you're going through a burnout, and how to recover from a burnout. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, touches on this by stating that life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. While work can provide meaning, it's not the sole source, and relying on it exclusively can lead to exhaustion. Anything, if you do it overly or you do it extremely, you just go to extreme ends, it becomes exhausting, and soon you will be not interested anymore in doing that thing. So the balance creates the fulfillment state, and it provokes that sense of satiating, and it just keeps you on that bliss point where you need something in your life and you're doing it already. So you never feel like you have overdone it, and you're never over something. Like, exercise is another great source of happiness. The endorphins, the chemicals released during physical activity can lift your mood. It is also said that exercise can help you balance out your mood. It reduces your friction to not move. It reduces your friction to stay in bed, to stay static, and improve your overall well being. Yet, if all you do is exercise, or you overdo the exercises or the workouts, it can become certainly very unhealthy. The body and mind both need variety, and they need everything in order. In Spark, the revolutionary new science of exercise in the brain, John Ratty writes, exercise is the single best thing you can do for your brain in terms of mood, memory, and learning. Despite its benefits, even something as good as exercise needs to be balanced with other activities. Why? Because if you overdo the exercises or the workouts, and you're not consuming that kind of food that is required for that kind of energy required workouts, you might just decline your health. You might tore your muscle, you might get strains, and you might weaken yourself and get prone to diseases or disorders of muscle or bones. Ultimately, happiness is fleeting because our needs and circumstances are always changing. The key is not to chase a single source of happiness, but to recognize and adapt to what you need at any given moment. And you have to be very intentional about recognizing what you need in that very moment. If you don't recognize, or you are not able to recognize what you need in any given moment, you might fail to give yourself that moment of happiness, contentment, fulfilling state. Reflecting on this, let's consider what you need right now. Is it relaxation, a sense of achievement, physical activity, any kind of creative activity, any kind of family time? The answer will vary, and that's perfectly okay. You don't have to be following on a certain path that somebody on the internet is doing, or the creator contribution is happening. No. You live by your rules, you live by your needs, and every person has unique statements. Every person has unique gifts. So recognize your gifts, recognize your needs, and be very present in this very moment. And if you cannot recognize what you need to achieve that kind of emotion, to achieve that kind of happiness and contentment or balance in your life, start practicing journaling. Do a journaling session. Write whatever comes into your mind. I read somewhere that you write for your own clarity. You do not write when you have something to say. You write when you want to clear your mind, to help your chaotic mind relax a bit. You write when you are going through some realizations in life, and you are going through moments where you are not able to pick one thing in your life. You journal in that very moment to bring clarity to your mind, to bring goodness to your mind, to your state. So how do you find balance? By listening to yourself. Pay attention to your current state and what you are craving. If you're feeling burnt out, maybe it's time for a break. If you're feeling restless, perhaps it's time to take on a new challenge. If you're feeling anxious about something, it's time to sit down and do the work needs to be done. In The Art of Happiness by Dalai Lama, he says, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. This very statement suggests that we have a role in creating our happiness, and it involves being attuned to our changing needs, attached to our soul, to our heart, to our mind, to our body, to recognize what they need in the very moment. So next time you find yourself wondering what will make you happy, ask yourself, what do I need to do right now? The answer will guide you to your current source of happiness, even if it's different from what it was yesterday. Because nothing is conclusive about the source of happiness and you being okay with what you are doing. So do not fear to experiment what you like to have fun time in, because maybe that is your sign to choose one thing of your choice that life is giving you to make your kind of impact on the world.